Hey, good morning, everybody. It is February 5th, and as of today, you're probably like me, and your head's kind of just a little spinning, just not knowing exactly what's going on with your F-150 Lightning reservation. You probably have, or worse, haven't heard from your dealer, and they keep saying, hey, we'll let you know, or you're supposed to be in wave 1 or 2 or 3, and you just haven't got a call yet. Maybe you reserved the day of, and you still haven't got a call, and you're freaking out. Well, I was kind of with you, so therefore I decided to pack that all into one video that I'm going to do today. So 2022 model year Lightnings actually just got a huge road bump. It was announced that due to the chip shortage, they're cutting production of the Lightning at 8 of its facilities. These include Michigan right here, Chicago, can't pronounce that one, a couple others, and this is all due to the chip shortage. Now, despite all of this, there's a lot we got to talk about today, and I do want to just address this real quick and just say that it's also mentioned in this article that, well, it's supposed to increase significantly, in quotes, towards the second half here. So keep that in mind, and I also have some other good news. So even though that sounds like bad news, this video today is all about, well, two things. One, what's going on, and two, there's good news around the corner. So we're going to go ahead and talk quickly about the waves and how they work, just to refresh everyone how Ford is actually unveiling this truck. Next, I think it's important to look at why some dealers are getting so many less Lightnings than other dealers. So I'll give you some information about that I found really valuable. So we'll get into that to see, if you haven't got a call yet, this might be why actually. And then third, I want to take a deep dive into some production numbers. I've done some what do I call it? Some Larry Logic math here to find a really close estimate of how many of each trim level they're making. Again, this is what I'm calling Larry Logic. We'll get to that, which I'm kind of proud of, but also you'll see later in this video. So finally, I do want to address just some other important dates, like things that are floating around my head, like the official EPA. We still don't know the actual range, EPA estimated range on the Lightning. Other things like test drive dates we don't know yet. So all that's going to be packed into this video. And without further ado, let's just get into this thing. So up first is a refresh on how the waves worked and or are working. So Ford gave the dealers a list, and it had everyone listed out based on their reservation day of the people at their dealership. If you recall, the dealers were then allowed to reorganize between 5 and 25 of those names and then submit that to Ford. So that has already happened. There's no way to turn back on that. That was very clear on Ford's messaging to the dealer. So that's done. That's the order that will happen. Crinkle up a ball and throw it away. Next, what we're in now is the wake of the waves. And what's happening is based on the dealer allotment, they're sending out emails in order of that list that the dealers have already submitted. And once that happens, there's the system on the dealer side where everyone on that list will have like a check mark even in their system when they receive that email. So it really, no matter, like, this is what I'm addressing here, is even if you've heard from your dealer saying, hey, you're ordering soon, that really doesn't matter until you hear from Ford themselves, not your dealer. So you'll get that email. Of course, I know a lot of you already know that, but just in case you're new to this, you got to have that official Ford email before you can even make an actual order with your dealer. So that should be coming if you are prioritized in those waves. And now, again, we are on wave 3, I mentioned, and they will go up to wave 6 as indicated by Ford. And or I think there's another stipulation of if the trims sell out, it could be shorter. Again, we'll get to that later in this video. Now, the last thing before we get on to the next section is just to remind everyone, in case you are watching this and you've got your wave invite, but you haven't ordered yet, you have until March 31st to go into your dealer and or submit it online, however, whatever's easier for you or whatever you've talked to your dealer about. Now, March 31st, lock that in, because if you don't get it in by then, they are apparently, based on the literature, shutting down the orders. So That's the date. So 3 more waves to go. There's still a chance, guys. There's still a chance. Up next is a very interesting and kind of a taboo thing to talk about, but it's why some dealers are not getting Lightnings. And it's very, very interesting to me. So the first thing I'm going to read a quote here from Jim Farley, recently stated on an earnings call like a couple days ago. So he really got into, I guess I won't read the exact quote. He said roughly 10% of the dealers have reportedly taken advantage and gouged their customers. 10% of Ford's dealership have been, reported to Ford or whatever, however they're tracking that information, stating that they've, upped the price on the Lightning. So, this is including also just like Mach-E's and just all their electric series. So 2 things that Jim Farley announced during this call was, one, they're cracking down officially, and we kind of heard this before, but on allotments. So we'll get to that in a second. So if they are one of these submitted dealerships or on, Ford's shit list, if you will, they won't be getting these, at least a large allotment of Lightnings. They might get some, but they're going to be hacked. And that goes for all of their electric or popular inventory. So that's how Ford's cracking down on it. They're also announced something kind of cool. Farley hinted at a go-to-market strategy and customer experience for those who buy EVs that may be in development. Of course, there's probably a bunch of legal hurdles to go through, but it would circumvent dealers. So they said it's exclusively for their EV trims, and they would sell direct to consumers, what it sounds like. So that could be really huge, hopefully in the next couple of years. So we got to keep an eye on that. That's pretty interesting stuff. So I do respect that they're doing something about this, but I don't know if I love it. So here's my thoughts: is they're at least enforcing something at the dealers, and they're letting it be known, hey, if you're raising these prices on our customers, then you're not going to get allotment of our popular vehicles, which is a great way to make dealers not do it. But in the long run, it kind of hurts the customer, especially in the case of the Lightning, because the way I look at it is, we didn't know our dealers. Like when you submit your reservation for the Lightning, you don't know really, unless you have worked with the dealer before or something, but you don't know what they're going to do or if they're a bad dealer, really, especially at the time of reservation. Most of us didn't, I'd assume. So then it turns out like maybe they were a bad dealer, and then they're cutting their allotment to, 1 or 0 trucks. That kind of sucks, because at the same time, you didn't know, and now the customer's hurt because you're not going to get your vehicle, or you're going to have to wait a long time because you're at a bad dealership, or you have to find a whole new dealer and start the process over again. So just kind of my thoughts on that. I don't know if I love it, but the other super important news that's kind of came out recently, it's not official from Ford, but what's going around the forums, and a lot of emails have gone out from Ford sales managers stating that over 50% of Ford's allotment of the Lightning is actually going to EV incentivized states. So these are the zero-emission states. States include California, Colorado, Connecticut, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, obviously I don't know how to talk, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington. So those states are, just those 12 states are getting 50% of the allotment. So let's do a little bit of math here. I've already done it, so I'm going to read a little bit of math. Now, 50% of the states, right? Let's pretend that the 15K of the 2022 model year is still the production that they're hitting. So if we take that 15K, we would know that 7.5 thousand Lightnings are going to 38 other states. Now, who knows how that's distributed state by state, but let's just pretend it's even for the sake of this. Now, that leaves roughly 197 per state vehicles. And then we go even more. So just like in Michigan, for instance, we have 137 dealers. So that means that if they're lucky, they will get like 1 or 2 Lightnings each in states like Michigan and, well, any other state that's not one of these zero-emission states, which sucks. And shocker why they're doing it. Ford actually makes money off of a credit that I don't want to get into because I don't fully understand it, but apparently, at least like companies like Tesla are making around $3,000 for every vehicle sold in these zero emission states, and Ford is following suit. And why wouldn't they want to make more money? So yeah, that kind of sucks. at least if you're in one of those states, it kind of rules. But at least for me in Michigan, and then it sucks because Michigan is the home of the Lightning, right? They're making it right here. Just give me one, please. No, but now this isn't 100% bad news, because another leaked email stated something pretty interesting, and it was about Ford purposely making a limited amount of this first year of Ford Lightning. And with that same breath, they plan on moving the 2023 up. So they're shortening, and this is not official, but it kind of sounds official. So they're shortening the run of the 22 on purpose to pad the numbers for 2023, which, again, I don't know the full validity of this, but it kind of lines up with what I have on the screen here. So what we're looking at is Ford actually announced that 2023 ordering information will be available as soon as summer 2022, which is right around the corner. And that kind of does coincide with the rumors that they're shortening the batch for 2022 just to really ramp up in 2023 and just have some incredible sales numbers for 23. And the fact that we're already getting to order it as early as summer is kind of a good sign that maybe you should hold on to your reservation, especially if you wanted a Pro or one of the sold out trims, because you might be able to make that order sooner than you think. It's not that long of a wait, especially the fact that this screen was this retail ordering. It was actually submitted with the initial launch. So this was part of the plan all along. And it does seem like the fact that they're announcing this already, it seems like they're prepared, and that we'll probably get that second round of 2023 models, right around the corner. This is, I can't stress enough, not official. It's very much just based on a bunch of things that are lining up, and information points to this. I just want that confirmed that I don't want to be spreading false information is what I'm getting at. So take that as you will, but I think it's good news. Okay, now this is the part I was most excited about. Talking about 2022 trim production levels. So now what I'm showing you on the screen right now is a document that went out to dealers. I found it on, basically all this information I found on F150 Gen 14, the forum. It's just the best. I'm just kind of aggregating it for you here. Now, what I did, hopefully you guys find this as interesting as I do. Now, it's been rumored about between 500 and 1,000 Pros were sold before they sold out. I don't know if we have this official number, but I'm going with 600 because that's what I've heard. And what I did is I went in Photoshop and did a pixel count of these bars on the graph. So what I did is I took the pixel and cross-multiplied with the 600 to then get the inventory numbers of all the other trims based on pixel height of these bars, cross-multiplied with the 600 of the pixel height of the Pro, which I think is pretty cool because the numbers actually kind of add up. Now, I'll skip right to the total that I got after doing this, which was 13,099 vehicles, which kind of sounds right. There was rumors that they're only making 10,000. There's rumors that they're only making 15K of the 2020 year. So this 13 is right in the middle of those. And I think it's, obviously these are not real numbers, but it's kind of okay to probably go off this roughly, right? It's probably give or take, a couple, probably 500 on each of these, but it's an okay guess in my opinion. So let's talk about what I found. So let's kind of look at what we have here. So what we're looking at first is the XLT, and now this is the 312 group. So this is that, it's roughly like $65,000 XLT, and that's the standard XLT with the 10K trim package. Now that's what they're going to make the least amount of. My estimate was just under 500. So moving right along, the Pro, of course, which is already sold out, obviously most popular, it was estimated to get 600 is what we're landing on. And then if we move right along from there, the XLT extended range, which honestly, this should be the one they make the least amount of, in my opinion. But I can also see why a lot of people will gravitate to this. It's the cheapest way to get the extended battery, but it's still expensive, of course. Anyway, this one I estimate at 836. Moving right along, we have the XLT base, which this is kind of good news because this is the next most affordable Lightning, and it's the regular trim package. It's the standard range battery, and I think that they'll make about 1,134 of these, which is great news. That's double the amount of the Pros, so that's probably why they haven't sold out yet. At least they're probably really close, don't get me wrong, especially all the people who are really eager and then the Pros sell out. This is the next best option. Heck, it's kind of what I'm gravitated to. So yeah, that at least there's hope is what I'm getting at. It's not as scarce as the Pro. Moving from there, we look at the Lariat standard range battery. And this is the other one I'm between, and it has, I'm guessing, 1820. So 1,820 allotments or builds of those. And then we move to the Platinum, the Big Daddy. My guess is 2,461 of these. And finally, which we said right away when pricing was released, we all kind of knew it, the Lariat extended range battery, which just is the best value when you think about it, because it has everything you can imagine under the sun. It's basically a Platinum Light, but for a couple $1,000s cheaper. And it's, I'm guessing, 5,778 of these. So yeah, take this Larry logic, if you will, but I like it. I like these numbers. It adds up. It gives me a peace of mind because I can just, I don't know. I got to see the numbers. I work in digital marketing. Everything I do is based off of statistics and numbers. So I like seeing stuff like this. So maybe you do too. So let's move on before I just talk about this for hours and hours. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about is some important dates to keep in mind and hopefully a scarce amount of optimism I want to leave you with. So first of all, let's talk about test drive dates. Now there's rumors, of course, nothing official from Ford. I've heard a couple emails from dealers, and basically what it comes down to is they're starting, it's what's called Job 1, to build the first group of, again, called mannequins. I'm learning all this stuff with you. Those are the demo units that will be at dealers, and those are set to kick off the 14th of March, given some shipping and all of that, and probably staggered state delivery. You probably won't see these roughly till April or May. So I've heard some dealers say March, late March, some say late April. Your guess is as good as all of ours. I would guess mid-April is where I would see us finally getting to drive these things. Now, before that happens, we need the EPA estimated range. I also think this is dependent on those Job 1s being created. It's been told to me that EPA usually goes off of that first batch, or they don't start testing until that first group of production Lightnings or vehicles come off the line. So as soon as we have this Job 1 started, we can start looking for that EPA estimate. And now I do want to address one thing, just because I feel like every video someone corrects me when I say the Ford estimated range. They say, well, do you not watch any videos? Because obviously YouTubers have found that the range is more than that. And I do know that that's the estimated range with 1,000 pounds of payload. Yes, I do know that, and that's great. So it will be more than that. However, we don't know the official, we don't know how much larger those really are, because all the tests that we've seen were on such early models, which we don't know if the software was up to date on those. We don't know if the vehicle had extra batteries in it because they're taking it to different people. They don't want it to run out. We don't know a lot about those pre-prod Lightnings that people were testing this stuff on. And I hope it's right. Like, I'm not trying to be negative here. I just don't want to spread this information without it being official, if that makes sense. Hopefully I don't sound like a loser, but I just really think it's, until we see the EPA numbers, then let's dive in, guys. But until then, I'm just trying to set optimistic, because it's a truck. It's a big truck. And yes, the batteries are big on these. Well, they have to be. But I have a feeling that Ford would have given us, I don't know, hopefully they're being modest. What can I say? I don't want to dwell on this too long. Let's move along. So I want to talk about where you stand with your reservation. And as long as you're not needing that $100, like, for whatever reason, I would keep your reservation if I were you, because I do have a strong feeling that these 2023 models are going to come in, and they're going to come in hot. Ford is obviously aware of the demand of these Lightnings. They've hyped up their 2023 and beyond numbers so much, and they're in the 80K to 100K unit range. So I would at least wait a little bit longer. If you were on the fence, even if you wanted a Pro. Now, I'll give a quick shout out to Joseph Herzog, who also is making some Lightning content. He was on Instagram. We talked about this for a little bit, and he said a great point that, like, you're not going to get a value like this, at least anytime soon, not until the Silverados are readily available, which could be late 2024. So if that's the reason that attracted you to this, I really, you got to just hang on a little longer, because otherwise well, unless you're moving to an ICE vehicle and you're just writing off EVs altogether, you're not going to get anything under even 50,000 for a long time. So keep that in mind, and just see it through maybe a couple more months is all. That's just a recommendation. Obviously do what you want, but just based off what I've been seeing, kind of makes sense to just hold on a little bit. I had this other thought of, like, once these are available, they still probably won't turn on the reservations again. So they won't let new people in. So us core reservation holders, we're kind of like a, exclusive group in some ways. It's almost like our own form of currency, having that reservation. It's I don't know, it's kind of cool. I know that's weird to say, but I don't know. It's like we're all brothers. So stupid. I don't know. We have this weird bond, but it's kind of neat. We're all drawn to fast trucks. What can we say? Okay, so I leave you with a deep breath and some, hopefully good news. I wish these were concrete, but just I'm trying to find that sliver of light at the end of the tunnel. And one more thing I do want to address. Especially, I've saved this for the end of the video because the people who actually like these videos watch the whole thing. So I just want to share this with you guys. I have a cool new plan, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. So I kind of just do videos when news pops up, which is great, but it also is wild. I don't have like a regular schedule. And I can only do them like when the baby goes to sleep or on the weekends like today. And I don't know. I just want to still deliver content all the time, but I want to do it nicely, and I don't want to rush out videos. So I've landed on this idea. So first of all, I'll still do these videos that I'm doing, just maybe less of them. Instead, I want to do a really well-produced video once a week. Eventually, unless there's like breaking news or some car reviews or bike reviews that I'm doing, those will still exist when they happen. But I'd like one really great show a week. And, maybe if I can turn it around, I'll do more than that a week. But I want to cover just a little more EV news, but like all these things that pop up during the week, they don't seem to like need their own video. Or like today where I covered a lot of stuff, like this is kind of what I'd rather do, is cover multiple things. So I went ahead and I bought a whole green screen and like a bunch of new lighting kits. I downloaded these virtual sets that I'm going to start playing with. I'm trying to source some like logos and stuff. So I'm going all in on this, guys. I'm really excited about this idea, and I want to just do one really well produced show a week. Now I don't know if I'll probably keep it all on the same channel, but yeah, I'm excited about this. The thing I paused to you guys is to help me with the name. I am banging my head against the wall. I really liked, I was going to call it All Charged Up. I liked that a lot because I want to just, stay in the EV world, but maybe some tech stuff too. The only problem is there's a really popular EV show that I think is just called Charged Up. So that stinks. I don't want to steal that from them. I had All Juiced Up I played with. I don't know. I know you guys probably have some good ideas. So I'm going to source it to you guys, and then maybe we'll do a vote in the community tab. That might be fun. So if you guys have some ideas of what I should call the upcoming Larry Electric show, well, first of all, if you hate the idea, tell me that too before I keep investing money into this. But I think it's a cool idea. So you guys let me know your thoughts. If you want a name, I'd like you guys to name it, because you guys are going to be the ones watching it, I hope. And with that, I'm going to end the video here. What was that? Okay, bye. I'm done.